Leaves from my journal. Logan Pierce's daily writings from the Washington, D.C. South Mission. Day 36, May 3rd, 2006. Zoo trip. This will most likely be my last entry today. Today, we're going to the zoo. We can only go once a mission, at least right now. In July, we're getting a new mission president, who might say we can go twice, or he might say we can't go at all. Either way, I want to go while I know we still can. So yeah, I'll try to write about the zoo when we get back if I'm not too tired. Well, I brought my journal with me. Since we're going to the zoo by bus, I'll have time to write in some of those things I've seen or heard that I haven't had time to write yet. I'll relate to you the story I heard last night from W. We visited him and his son at their new apartment, which we helped them move into. He told us about his travels. He lived in Kenya until the mid-1980s, then came to America and worked in Dallas for a while. He's been all over. He told us of how the French reputation for rudeness was right on the money. The French, when they see an American tourist, if he just speaks to them in English and doesn't even try speaking French to them, he'll just be ignored. That's what happened to W. He was at a French airport and couldn't find his plane. He asked people for help at the airport, but he didn't ask them in French, so he was given the cold shoulder. Realizing he wouldn't get anywhere this way, he walked up to a French flight attendant and asked them for help in his native language of Swahili. The Frenchman, not familiar with this language, became concerned. Sir, he said, I cannot understand you. Do you know any other languages? Can you speak English? A little, W said. Relieved, the flight attendant talked to W in English and helped him catch his flight. A pretty good story, I thought. I like W. He's from Kenya, has a wife and 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. His oldest son, T, had his head injury in America, so W is staying here until he gets better. W's in his mid-40s. He's very intelligent and very humble, a rare combination. I love his accent. He's got this Kenyan accent and this deep voice that makes him sound like James Earl Jones. I also love to hear him pray. He's so sincere and so humble in his prayers to our Heavenly Father. He's thankful for the missionaries being in his life and in his son's life. He's thankful for the Book of Mormon and how it talks of the gospel of Jesus Christ and what we need to do in this life to return to live with our Heavenly Father. That's the prayer as a missionary that you never get tired of hearing from your investigators. We're still working on Joseph Smith. It's not that he doesn't believe the story of the prophet. He just needs to understand his life more. We're taking W and T to the D.C. Temple Visitor Center after the zoo. We're going to an African Heritage Festival at the Visitor Center. Later, I hope to see that new movie about the prophet, Joseph Smith, Prophet of the Restoration. I went to the Smithsonian National Zoological Park in Washington, D.C. today. First, the bad news. I'm going to need a more permanent camera. Disposable ones are expensive. I ran out of film early in the zoo trip. We saw some bald eagles. I was 2 feet away from a bald eagle, and I didn't have a camera. Elder BU said he'll make me some copies from his digital camera. We did see some pretty neat animals, though. The cheetahs, for instance, were fun to watch. They had this little red flag which was tied to a rope, which went all around the cheetah enclosure and was controlled by a remote, so that when they turned it on, the flag would zip around the track and the cheetahs would chase after it. Watching them, you got the feeling they were no different than house cats. I mean, they were huge house cats, but still. We also saw the Amazon exhibit. Some of the strangest fish I've ever seen in my life. Some of them I thought for sure had to have been from other planets. One of them was huge. I mean, all of them were big, but this fish was long and had the weirdest head. There was also this funny fish that puckered his lips. A huge catfish that had to weigh at least 50 pounds. We saw the giraffes and the elephants. We got to the zoo at noon. The weather was perfect. One of the first things we saw there were the pandas. The best thing was, it wasn't crowded at all. The baby panda was up in a tree. It looked so adorable. Oh, going back to the bald eagles for a second. We got to watch them get fed. A zoo worker went into their cage with a tray full of dead mice. She started to throw them around and the eagles would pounce on them. We also watched the seals. These seals are a lot more active than the ones at the Oklahoma City Zoo. They were zooming around the water really fast. My companion, LWU, got some real good seal pictures. One thing I like about the Oklahoma City Zoo more than this one is the giant tortoises. Back home, the turtles were out in the open, in a fenced-in area outside. Here, the turtles were just inside the reptile house. It was a pretty good zoo, not quite as big as I thought it would be. I like the aquatics area back home better. I could sit and watch the fish there all day. That's what I'd like to do sometime. Go to the biggest aquarium in the U.S. and just sit, listen to some classical music, and watch the fish swim by. But thank you for listening. That's all for now. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more leaves from my journal. Take care.